I look at examples of other companies that started where you guys are now, Canadian focus. I would look at something like Osisko. Osisko, same place as you, early 2000s. They've gone through a process, but it's taken them a long time to kind of get to where they are. Well, I can't remember what it sold for. What was that? I'm not quite sure what the amount was, but
Malartic?
Yeah,
$4 billion.
4 billion, big number, right? Yeah. It's a good day at the office, right? When that happens.
Who cares if it was 10 years? I mean, $4
billion.
billion.
Yeah, okay.
From 3 cents.
Right. So you've got an understanding of, like, you clearly know them,
right.
the strategy that they followed, right? Is yours literally a cookie cutter approach to that? You say, well, we can replicate that because it's a similar orogenic, or it's in a similar type district. I know it was Timmins, isn't it? Are you just following that model that's already well established and well done, or have you had to think about how you go about managing and developing this asset with, the cash restrictions that it has on it now? I mean, how do you go about that? What's the thinking?
Well, Sean Rosen, who I know extremely well and I'm a huge fan of, is a master, or after 40 years in the business, at being able to raise money and then turn that money into great returns. And I would tell you his focus, and it's the same focus I had in the oil and gas side. It doesn't matter. I would call it a short cycle focus.
What does that mean?
It means that you're going to look at paybacks that are in the 2 to 3 year range.
Right.
You're not out there looking for pachyderms. You're not elephant hunting.
Got it.
We have an identifiable resource close to infrastructure. We're not spending $200 million in Argentina building a road and a power line, okay, like Barrick has to do.
Yep.
We're looking at a very concentrated, very shallow deposit, 100 to 150 meters.
So very shallow. Wow. Strip ratio, fabulous.
Yeah, close to zero.
Right.
And so, boom, boom, boom.
Right.
Investors don't want to hear, at least today, about pachyderms. They want to hear, geez, how quickly can you turn this?
So you're saying we're going to identify a series of baby steps.
Yes.
It may be, 10 or 15 years, but you're saying we're going to do some baby steps to get to where we need to be. At those points, people can make decisions whether they stay in.
Yes.
Or cash in.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm a huge believer in liquidity events.
Yeah.
And we want to create not one liquidity event, we want to create multiple liquidity events.
Right.
So that Matt, as the investor, will look at this and say, I put in at 7 cents.
I got options, right?
Yeah.
That's what I want.
I put in at 7 cents at 21 cents. Do I want out?
Yeah.
Or do I want to harvest
Yep.
a little bit and leave some in?
Yeah.
Get my capital back and take a free ride on that option, given where I think this might go.
Right. So
that's the strategy.
Okay, so that you're clearly a commercial guy, because that's very much focused on what's dear to shareholders' hearts, which is share appreciation. That's the business, right? You just happen to be mining.
Right.
Okay. Now, if I look at some other Canadian players who are sitting on large numbers in terms of resource and reserve, and they've spent tens, hundreds of millions of bucks drilling to get those numbers up, and they've got some cash. They're not strapped for cash. They're no fire sale imminent. But I don't see the next step for them. But they're sitting on 5-7 million ounces. I mean, you're talking about these baby steps, these catalyst events. I mean, have you thought about what yours need to be?
Well, absolutely.
Right.
And it's what I outlined. Look, you don't want to have to be sitting waiting for the next bull cycle.
Yeah.
And these guys that have these large deposits with huge capital commitments in front of them have to wait for the next bull cycle. And if they don't get the bull cycle, their cash erodes. And right now, you know the market better than anybody. Go try and raise equity right now. Unless you're a cannabis player or a tech player, nobody's interested in giving mining guys any kind of money right now. I mean, we're very fortunate because we have Asian investors. When I go to Hong Kong, let me tell you the difference, okay?
Right.
I go to Toronto. You can't buy people coming to the conference. You go to the Scotiabank conference, and it's a great conference.
Yeah, good people.
3 people show up.
Right.
3 people, and you're looking through the lights to see who's in the audience.
But what's happened? Do you think have people got exhausted, or have they been burnt too many times, or is it just as simple as there's nicer, shinier, more profitable projects, cannabis, etc., out there right now? What's going on?
So, the 10 top gold companies, total market cap, 121 billion. Okay, the top 5 cannabis companies after 2 years, 88 billion. You tell me what happened. All the risk capital in Canada has gone into cannabis. You can't find capital if you put a cannabis play out there right now.
Yeah.
And this used to be like this in gold. Before you walk in the room,
you're done.
They've written the checks.
Yeah. I kind of hope so. I've got an investment myself in the space, but as a blended portfolio approach to investing, if you're lucky enough to have some cash to invest, you need to kind of look at different options. You can't put all your eggs in the gold basket or necessarily the mining basket. You spread it around a bit.
Right.
And I get the cannabis story and formerly blockchain and Bitcoin, etc. And they've all come off a bit.
Right.
There's some sanity has prevailed. Do you think that mining is still a relevant investment class? Let's start with Canada, because you know Canada, right? So are people still thinking about it, or do you think coming back into it?
Not yet.
Not yet. Still away.
Which means it's a good opportunity. I don't have my phone here; it's over there.
Right.
But I'll hold my phone up and say, "There's gold in this phone. There's tungsten in this phone. There's duodenum in this phone. There's you name it. There's in this phone." Yeah. What people are not connecting the dots to is that mining is here forever. Yeah. And the valuations in mining are so attractive right now. You have PNAVs, price to net asset value.
Yeah.
0.3, 0.2, 0.5.
That's a tough day.
And you've got a cannabis company trading at 800 times revenue.
Yeah.
I think, to your point, do I want a balance here? Because I think I want to hedge.
Yeah.
A, I want to hedge against the US dollar. B, I want to hedge against a cannabis investment, a crypto investment, and you can do it pretty easily.
Yeah, I think that's right.
That's the logic to me.
And I would agree with that, and we advocate to our subscribers that they need a blended approach to this, because the stories aren't always true, and things don't always turn out the way that people say they're going to. So you need to, bit of hedging is smart. But okay, we'll bring it back to Margaux if we can. So Margaux is a small company. You've seen a lot of deals. But you were approached by the Hong Kong guys, and they said, right, if you got it, and this is the one you picked, right? And this is the one I get. IAMGOLD's your number one priority, as it should be. It's a big company, and you hold a lot of stock. But this project, as far as you're concerned, is one of the better junior projects that you've seen of its kind in Canada. Yeah. That's why you've gone for it.
Absolutely, and I'm not going to sit here and throw a bunch of hubris. Okay.
Sure.
We've had 5 extremely successful investors or investments with these investors. And they're very private people, and they don't come back unless you're successful. And there's an old military saying, always reinforce success. And what I'm a huge believer in, and I'm a huge believer in Margaux, in the people and the technical support, my brother, who's a fantastic leader, is reinforce success. We will have success here. And this is not like you're at the craps table rolling the dice. We have a certified 1 million ounce deposit that just needs to be reinforced. That's it. And that's why I think when you compare it to hundreds of investments out there that require, I would say, challenging permitting, that are far from a 43101 certificate. This stands out.
Yeah, I'd agree, because we've analysed this, right?
Yeah.
We've looked at a lot of the moving parts. You, Chris Stewart,
right?
Okay, Shinjin.
Yes.
the fact that you've got historic resource, well, it's not even that historic, it's 2009, right?
Yeah.
Quick, cheap to get that, back up. You've got the tailings.
Correct.
You've got a lot of infrastructure sitting there. You've got water, power, road. You've got all the in a safe jurisdiction. So there's a lot to like about it. $5 million though, market cap. Is that just a factor of the spot price for gold? Or is it just you've only just started telling this story? I mean, what do you think?
What was the market cap of Goldcorp in 2011?
I have no idea.
62 billion.
62 billion.
What was
right.
the market cap when it sold?
Don't know.
15.
15.
Okay. Look at it. This ravaging, which has gone on, is consistent across the board. It doesn't matter what company you look at. It's been completely destroyed.
Yeah.
And it's been destroyed, and we haven't helped as an industry because there's been a lot of missteps.
Right.
Okay? We've seen value destruction with big projects that have gone south.
What do you mean by value destruction? In terms of shareholder value or?
Yes. Fair shareholder value because a mine hasn't been what they thought it was going to be.
Right.
And big bets were made when the bull market was at its peak. You had a lot of money going after what I would call stupid things. And you had that happen in the oil business. You're having it happen in the cannabis business right
Sure.
now.
It's been a reset in Canada, for sure. Yeah.
And we all remember .com. So all I'm saying to you, Matt, is look, we are now being punished for the sins that we committed, and we committed sins.
Yeah.
And that usually means there are opportunities. And you learn from those mistakes. What did I learn from my 28 years in oil and gas and 10 years in mining? Focus on short cycle economics. Stay away from long cycle investments that take 10 years to pay back, huge capital commitments, and as a result of being out there over time, high risk. Minimize your risk. Short time, short payback, small capital. And if you do happen to have that bull cycle start, you're going to get your money back very, very quickly. That's what Margaux is.